welcome back to my channel and welcome to the video where I tell you every book that I got in December. I will give you a friendly heads up that yes, there are quite a few books here. I cashed in coupons, I went to secondhand stores, and I also bought online during Christmas sales, etc, etc. So yes, there's quite a few books here. They will last me a couple months, and yeah, some of them I've actually already read too, full disclosure. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. 11 books have been added to my library in December, and here they are. First off, we're gonna do the third book and final book in the Nightfall trilogy by Chloe C. Pinata, The Darkest Descending. Now, I have been waiting for this book since maybe March, April, when I read the first two in the Nightfall series. Now, I have not read the other book, or the other series. I think it's like Reign of... I have not read an Air Comes to Rise series, and let me tell you why. Because it's always been listed in either of the previous two books that I've purchased, but I had no idea you're supposed to read that whole series first before you read this one. And I only found out because I actually read the author's note. Well, I think I lasted like 2 days before I decided, you know what, I'm not going to read that series right now. I really just wanted to finish my trilogy, and you can read them independent of their own, like I did. And yes, there are a lot of gaps that I don't understand, so I will have to go back and read that series, or go read it and then filter in the Nightfall trilogy as needed, because there are a lot of references to individuals, and I've never met them before in a previous book. So I did read this book. It's wonderful. I'm so glad I read it. There's a lot of holes though, so I do recommend going to read in tandem probably the Nightfall trilogy with an Air Comes to Rise series. I foresee 2026 being the year I read series. So yes, it was excellent. I really, really liked it. Beautiful book, by the way. So I do recommend you pick that up. The next book, let's see something a little bit lighter. Not romantasy or not even fiction. This is nonfiction, and this one is called Studies in the History of the Renaissance by Walter Pater. Now, I studied medieval history in college, as well as art, fine art and art history. So this one is kind of like a coming back to me, kind of, it jogs my memory of things that I would read about, and I miss it. As much as I love all of these high fantasy and romance books, I always like to read what they inspired, or what inspired these authors to create these amazing stories. And I just really like to read a lot of medieval history nonfiction. So yeah, and fiction, but this is a nonfiction book, recommended to me by Walter Atkinson, Frederick Atkinson. I think Walter Atkinson was an author that passed away. Frederick Atkinson is very alive, and he does all these amazing like medieval reads. He's going throughout English literature, throughout history. So this is one of the recommended readings during his Tudor, predates the Tudor period, I'm not sure. This was written in 1873, but the actual like subject matter obviously is in the medieval times. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some non-fiction. Back to fiction, we have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gilling. Phenomenal. I did not expect this book to be this good, and I was like, wow, this is great. I see why people talk a lot about it. It has a really funny character, a little side character. So it's pretty much about a woman who knows divination, and she lives in an abbey with an abbess and 5 other of her sisters, and the 6 of them are diviners. They foresee the future to people who come to the abbey to ask for whatever they want to. So and then the other 5 sisters go missing. She enlists the help of a knight, and they go on a quest to find the other 5. So what I liked about this book is that it wasn't like a massive far off fantasy world. Like, you didn't need to travel to like all these different realms. There wasn't like a whole lot of magic involved. It seemed very close to more medieval, rustic medieval times than a lot of the fantasy books that I do read. Now, there is an enchanted gargoyle in here, but you know, there are obvious signs of fiction and fantasy in here, but it wasn't as heavily fantasy fiction as a lot of the other books I read. So it was a really nice welcome surprise. I highly recommend reading this book. The subsequent novel comes out, I think, in either September or May. I'll have to double check the date on that one, but highly recommend The Night and the Moth. It's wonderful. All right, and the next book is a classic. Now, it's a really unique it's a really unique cover that I picked up, and the classic is Pride and Prejudice. Now, if you know me, this is my absolute one of my favorite movies ever. I have seen so many versions of it. My favorite, though, is the 2005 version with Keira Knightley. It's stunning. I watch it on silent because I think the cinematography is gorgeous. The way that they capture light in that film, it's just so beautiful. So you can put on some other music in the background and just watch it, and just the lighting is amazing. I really love the editing on it. It's really, really good, and just, yeah, it's a beautifully made film. But I've never read the book. I know. I read a few other classics, but honestly, like, I'm the kind of person that if it's super popular right now, or if it's something that everybody's trending on, I'm not going to do it because everyone else is doing it. I want to do something different. So I have put off reading Pride and Prejudice and quite a few classics, including Dracula. I've never read that. But 2026 is going to be the year that stops. So I actually picked this up in store at a TJ Maxx. I know. And I paid $10 for it. And I thought, gosh, what a beautiful $10 hardcover of a classic. Like, I mean, look at those end pages. I think it's stunning, and it feels good. I like the printing, so I like how there's no artwork in between. It's just a very simple book, but just beautiful cover. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this classic of my favorite movie. So Pride and Prejudice added to the pile. Next up, we have nonfiction, and this is definitely more of a fine art book, and it is a philosophical inquiry into the origin of our ideas of the sublime and beautiful. So a little bit more deeper into what I studied in college. I did a lot of fine art, aesthetics, and concept and theory of design. So I really focused on what is beautiful, why is it beautiful, why do we like it, and this is just in layman's terms. And I've never read this book, so it again was recommended to me. It's by Edmund Burke, and this also was printed nearby to where I live. It was printed at Notre Dame University in Indiana, so I don't live too far from there, and I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to reading this one. It is, yeah, it's the introduction traces the main sources of Burke's ideas and establishes the nature of his originality. The largest section of the editor's introduction, however, examines the influence of the Enquiry. So major writers like Johnson, Wordsworth, Thomas Hardy, painters such as Fuseli and Mortimer, critics Critics such as Diderot, Lessing, and Kant, as well as many other minor figures, recognized Burke's new insights in varying degrees and assimilated them. So this is more of like a kind of like an essay, it seems like, which I'm really, really excited to read. So yes, nonfiction, kind of figure out like why we like what we like, etc., etc. So I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. Next up, back to Romantasy. I picked up A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows by Holly Reening. Holly Reening comes a beautifully dark, spicy fantasy romance about the twisting threads of fate versus duty and the all-consuming power of desire. Even Adara's dreams make her a traitor to the kingdom she was sworn to protect. But when her home is attacked, she is forced to make the choice between duty to her betrothed king or untamable passion for his temptingly wicked brother. Definitely going from one serious genre to another genre. A little bit of genre whiplash, but that's okay because I gotta keep it spicy. Gotta keep things interesting, right, with me. So yeah, this was recommended. It was under $10. It was on super sale, and I thought, you know what? Let's give it a try. I love how the book itself is hot pink. Like, how cool is that? I actually have a really sweet lipstick case in this color, so, and I think the lipstick is also that color, but yeah, so another fun fantasy book to read. And the final book in this box, we still got quite a few more to go, is definitely a gardening book. And this is called The New Romantic Garden. Now, I haven't looked at this yet. It's by Joe Thompson. It was recommended to me, oh gosh, one of the many like home influencing shows that I watch on TV. But it is, remember when I said that Pride and Prejudice has the most beautiful editing, at least the version from 2005. This is what a lot of those scenes looked like. Like, it was just stunning, beautiful gardens. Definitely not with the Airstream in there though. Walled gardens, etc., etc. So I really wanted to pick this book up to kind of see if there's anything I can do in here for like inspiration, design ideas for our garden in the back. And gosh, look at that light. Beautiful photography. So this year, or this forthcoming spring, I should say, I am installing a cut flower garden. And I love romantic roses. I do starting to collect David Austin roses. And there's quite a few of those in here. So I am looking forward to flipping through this book when it is miserable, cold, doom and gloom outside. These books were acquired with my husband Max, and by him too. So one day, I think it was like a couple weekends ago, or maybe it was last weekend, Max and I went out to see, what is it called? Max and I took a ride out to a small indie bookstore called Grounded Books, not too far away from where we live, and I picked up The Ever Queen by L.J. Andrews. Now, this is the second book of the Eversea series. I do have The Ever King, which I actually had LJ sign in person, which is really, really cool. But this series, the Eversea series, there's another series that's preceding this that I have not read yet. So that is a 9-book commitment before I even get to this series. And then this is the second book in the series. So got a little while to go, but I was really happy to go and check out an indie bookstore, as well as pick up something from there that I have not read and that I don't have. So thank you so much to Grounded Books. They were amazing, and it's such a cool little place. I'll definitely be back there. And finally, we've got 3 more, guys. These are books that I got from Max for Christmas. We'll stick with the fantasy romance just for one last one. I did get Anathema by Carrie Lake. I have not read any of her books yet. And I really like the little crows on the side, the sprayed pages. Let's see if there's like book. Okay, so just the hardcover itself has this really cool crow, and it's metallic on there. I do like that. I've never read this book, and so I'm really looking forward to that. It's a little bit of well, it is fantasy romance, but it does have horror in it, and I'm not a big horror fan, but I'm trying to branch out. I'm trying to do something different, and it's really fun because he picked out these books from a big list that I had, and he's like, this one sounded good. So I'm kind of excited I am really excited to read and let him know like what happens in it. So yes, Anathema by curate. And then for the final two, these are nonfiction. So I have the Mabinogion. Oh my goodness, I cannot say anything. The Mabinogion, I believe it's called Mabinogion. And this is a series of folklore and tales from the medieval ages that have been compiled into this one book. I studied medieval history and fine arts, art history in college, and this was one of the books that was recommended to me as a supplemental read, and I never read it. And then I follow Frederick Atkinson on Bookstagram, Book Talk, whatever you got, and he is doing a series on medieval history and fine art, and this was one of the books that he recommended. So of course it jogged my memory as soon as I saw the cover, and I thought, oh, it's time. I've got to get this one. So I've got a little bit of that to read. It's not like a huge book, but I mean, I can read it in sections since it is multiple little stories kind of all compiled into one. So that'll be nice to kind of like flip through and just kind of pick like a few to read a day or whatnot. But I am looking forward to digging into this. And finally, I got The Revolt of the Angels by Anatole France. And The Revolt of the Angels by Anatole France, translated by Mrs. Wilfred Jackson, explores the themes of rebellion and freedom as arcade. An angel in Paris leads a revolt against divine authority. The novel delves into philosophical questions about morality, autonomy, challenging traditional perceptions of good and evil. France's lyrical prose and rich symbolism invite readers to ponder the complexities of truth and human. I do believe this is an indie book because the back is, the font is like all the way pulled to the edges, and it's quite large. I found that odd. And then inside, just the way that the printing's done also, like it's just pulled to the sides. It's unique. It's not like a traditional publishing, I will say, but one of the coolest things is where it was published. It was published in Moni, Illinois, and that is not far from where I live. So I thought that was really cool. I keep forgetting that there is a publisher down there, and I don't know if they have like a publisher store where you can like go and buy the books that they print there or not. Probably not, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check it out online. So yes, this is my huge stack. These are all the books that I got in December, and I cannot wait to get this giant pile done. I picked these up in person, online, as well as gifts. So some of these books I picked up online, some in person, and some were gifted to me as well. And there you have it, guys. These are all 10 plus 1 on the floor. This is massive. These are all of the books that I got in December. Have you read any? Let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you again next time. Bye.